Hello, hello, and welcome to another edition of Queen Astro's Tarot. Thank you so much to everybody who is returning, who has subscribed. I've really just been feeling all warm and fuzzy since the last time I posted, so apologies, it's been a minute. Welcome to those of you who are new today, because I was just so stoked on life in general. I wanted to pump y'all up, and I decided to do a spread that is what you should be friggin' stoked about. I do live in LA, I live in SoCal, so I will maybe lean into that a little bit, y'all. But at the end of the day, and I say this as somebody who's had very, very, very low lows and high highs, there's always something to be friggin' stoked about, right? Like even now, if you feel like you're at a pretty low low, you have internet access and a device that allows you to watch this. And I'm not saying that my content is saving you, but I'm saying the fact that you have access to it is awesome. You know, that's not something that everybody has. But to be clear, this is going to very, very big, very, very big. Wow. It's going to really, really hype you up because I don't know, I've just got this vibe about September that really just feels like, or not September rather, but just like in general. Apologies, I am filming this just before September 2022. This is a timeless reading. I'm just feeling really pumped about the future. And if you found this, you should be feeling pumped about the future too, because guess what? The future is now, baby. And with that, let's hop into what should you be friggin' stoked for. Pile one, we have the rune of Kinas. Pile two, we have the rune, I believe it is Tiwaz? Yeah, Tiwaz. Pile three, we have Ingus. And pile four, we have, let me show you, Hagalas. I believe, tell me if I'm saying that wrong, or incorrectly rather. Hagalas. All right, what should you be freaking stoked for? Pile one, pile two, pile three, pile four. If you're having trouble deciding, I love using Google Random Number Generator. It's very helpful in these kinds of situations when you're feeling puzzled or stuck. And if you have a minute, if you could just hit like, comment, share, subscribe, you know the drill. It super helps my channel, and I really, really appreciate it because I really enjoy doing these, and I hope that you find a little joy in your day from doing these as well. All right, y'all. Timestamps will be in the description below, and I will see you all in your pile or piles. Bye. Hello, hello. If you are here, you picked pile one for what should you be friggin' stoked about. And I think you have a lot to be stoked about pile one, just based off of your rune choice alone. Kiwaz, or not Kiwaz, Kinaz, I'm sorry. Kinaz with an N. Looks like a little Pac-Man. Waka, 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 waka. And I think that's very relevant, pile one, because you've been working really hard. Actually, before I even get into your cards, when I was pulling each pile, I had a kind of, stoked, get stoked playlist on shuffle. And when I was pulling for you, I got 6 Inch by Beyonce, which is, such like a boss ass song about somebody like really like working hard towards something and getting, that Virgo energy, kind of like Beyonce, like working hard, ticking off all the boxes, like almost like a check mark, right? Like ticking off all the boxes and getting what you friggin' want. And I think that's something you get to be stoked about because it's saying, pile one, that like everything you have been working for, these like risks you've been taking, and this like action oriented, especially like with Kinaz is like a torch, like fire, that passion you've been working with is really paying off. And if it hasn't yet, it is imminently going to. So heck yes, pile one. Before I keep going, I'm going to break down how the reading's going to go. I've got 2 oracle cards on the bottom that we'll look at, and some tarot as well. And yeah, let's just get into it. I'm just friggin' stoked. See why you should be friggin' stoked, pile one, and like this video if you're already friggin' stoked. All right, let's start with your tarot. We have the Lovers. You know what? This was in reverse, but I think I turned the pile upside down, so because I'm pulling it upwards, okay? So there, pile one, because I'm friggin' stoked for you. 10 of Swords in reverse. Yeah. Look at all this red too, and with the torch, like such passion, like something you like, and even the word stoked, like to stoke a fire, Like, this is very like, SoCal, I'm super stoked, or skater or whatever, but it's also like building something up. Okay, you've got the Queen of Cups in reverse. And then, whoop, ooh, Ace of Cups, okay. Ooh, I love this pile one. Yeah, I think this is what you get to be really stoked about is, before I keep going in with more tarot, you've got the Lovers and then the Ten of Swords in reverse. And immediately what I'm seeing here is there's a choice. Like, I know passion, fire, this could be about, you know, a person or a situation with a person, but I'm trying to keep this as broad as possible. So, you know, take what resonates, y'all. But whatever this choice was too, right? Because like the Lovers is all about choice. Maybe you felt previously trapped by it, or like you didn't have a choice. And with the Ten of Swords in reverse, it's like you, instead of being the body with all the swords in it, you're able to see outside of this situation, if that makes sense. Pile one, like you are able to, even with the Queen of Cups in reverse, I think more than anything, because usually the Queen of Cups is like very calm, cool, collected, like the true cool girl, like not the pick-me cool girl, like the effortless, like I am who I am and my life is bountiful sort of energy. And I feel like what this is saying, pile one, is that maybe this choice did leave you kind of feeling like almost like in an in-between state for a while, whatever that means. And like you kept looking in your cup, like, when is it going to be filled? Like, I know I'm doing all the right steps. Like, I know, even if like I feel like kind of like in a weird limbo, I know I made the right choice, whatever that might be for you, pile one, but something you were definitely passionate about. And what you get to be friggin' stoked about is, hello. I don't know why I just said it like that. Ace of Cups. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card to get, pile one. And I think it's so interesting because you see how this figure is like swimming in the cup. They almost look like they're struggling. But then when you pull out, you zoom out, I think you're going to have this like new clarity around this passion, whatever it is, pile one, or this choice, that's going to be able to give you a new perspective and a new beginning, pile one. Like, you're going to be able to see that, like, oh, and I'm not saying this in a belittling way, like, I'm making this bigger than I need to, right? Like, I'm pretending like I'm drowning, but I'm really in a kiddie pool or a cup, and the ocean is so big. That doesn't say you're going into scarier waters. Not to say that at all, pile one. But more to say that, yeah, that zoom out perspective is happening for you to kind of reaffirm whatever choice you made. Yeah, let's keep going though. Let's keep going. See why we should be stoked about you, pile one. All right. I've got the Crow Tarot. We've got, oh, the Page of Cups. This is so interesting after the Ace of Cups, like being a beginning. And the Page of Cups is like, you know, sometimes like a pleasant surprise in the realm of your emotions. But let's keep going. Pile one. Interesting. Nine of Swords in reverse. Right under the Ten of Swords in reverse. Huh. I'm seeing a story, pile one. Six of Cups. Oh. And the Six of Swords. Lots of sixes. Six might be a relevant number for you. Maybe you were born in June. Especially with the water. Maybe you're a Cancer baby. Not for everyone. Yeah, with this Ace of Cups and the Six of Swords, it's... And here's the thing. When I went into this reading about being friggin' stoked, I went in thinking, you know, sometimes there's like quote-unquote blessings in disguise. And even when they're ultimately good, let's be real, no one's ever really friggin' stoked about a blessing in disguise. Am I right? So I'm trying to read that. I'm trying to read these more, not so much blessing in disguise. Just because, like, I think traditionally I would read this as like, oh, you're getting a new beginning because you're walking away from something, like you're able to move forward. But especially with the Ten of Swords, I think that is true, pile one. I'm not saying that's not true. But I think a lot of this was within yourself. Like a lot of this mental strife or whatever, like waffling or confusion maybe about the choice you made. Be friggin' stoked because you made the right choice. especially with the Six of Cups right under the Queen of Cups, I feel like this might just be a message for some folks. But almost like you were worried that the choice you made was based off of a nostalgia factor or a comfortability level, which it might have been. And that's not to say that that's bad, but do you catch my drift? Like where you feel like, you know, sometimes people would rather be in a comfortable misery than a foreign, or try to experience a foreign joy. And I think there's part of you that was concerned about that. Like, am I repeating patterns? Am I like doing this nostalgia loop like I have in the past? And I think what the cards are saying is, no, bro, you've done it. Like the choice you made has given you this freedom to look at things with like a new bright perspective and bring something new into your life. And I think especially so there's literally, is it all Swords and Cups and the Lovers? Yeah, so I'm just going to take a stab in the dark, pile one, and say this is about a relationship. And if it's not, you know, maybe it's about, you know, a relationship with your job, like something that you're very emotionally attached to and have been having some mental strife with. I think what you should be freaking stoked about, and what those cards are saying is you did make the right choice. Like you're not repeating patterns, which is so awesome, especially when you are working on yourself and like able to sort of see like, oh yeah, this is what triggers me, or this is the kind of person I usually end up pursuing, and then, you know, nothing happens, or what have you. There's a clarity coming in that is allowing you to see things with fresh eyes. But I think, again, I really want to reiterate that the cards are saying you made the right choice, like even if you were worried that you didn't. Yeah, I just was compelled to tell you that, pile one. And here's what else you should be friggin' stoked about these two bad boys. All right, so we've got from the Celtic Tree Oracle the Muin Vine. I'm sorry, my Gaelic or Celtic is not great. But what is great, be friggin' stoked. This is a Master Manifestor number, y'all. And what I do love about this card is it really does connect again with the Beyonce song that came up when I was picking your cards. So again, this doesn't necessarily have to be about relationship. Maybe it is work related, or like just something you were very, very, very passionate and emotionally attached to that you have been working so hard towards. And the Moon Vine is all about reaping those rewards, like taking it. Yeah, like you have planted the seeds. The success is there for you. So like relish in it. Like it's coming. Like be friggin' stoked. And what I also like about this card is that it has that very, yes, I'm proud of the work I did. Yes, I know I worked hard. Yes, I know I deserve this, but I'm not going to, you know, pull an Icarus and fly too close to, like, there's no hubris. There's no, like, you were very grateful and grounded for what you have. And honestly, pile one, that is something you should be so friggin' stoked about, because so many people, and I mean, you know, we all have our days, myself included, obviously, where it's hard to see what good we have in our lives, or to give ourselves the credit that we absolutely deserve just for, frankly, just for being alive in this hellscape. And you are going above and beyond that, pile one. And you should be just so stoked about that you have persevered through all this. Yeah, and it's coming to fruition, pile one, literally coming to fruition. I'm going to end your reading, pile one, about what you should be friggin' stoked with, which also very funny, Divine Blueprint, Jay-Z, Beyonce. I'm thinking this might be maybe it's a work-love relationship. I don't know, pile one. But what I do love about this deck for folks who are new here is that the art is designed to activate the energy within, you know, the card. And you have Divine Blueprint. So I am going to grab the guidebook just because it has so many details, pile one, and I want to leave you leaving this reading feeling so friggin' stoked. So definitely let me know in the comments as I page through. If this is resonating with you, you know, hold your like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And tell me what you're stoked about. Like, what is something in your life you're friggin' excited about? Even if it's like, oh my God, I just got a squatty potty and it friggin' rules. That's me projecting. I really want a squatty potty. You know what I mean? What are you stoked about, pile one? All right, yeah, Divine Blueprint. So 3 and 5 is 8, which reminds me of like again, divinity, infinity. Like, you are a leader of light, a way shower in the ascension of human consciousness. Connect with your divine blueprint to download and activate the coding of your sovereign self and your inner authority. Release behaviors of codependence. See, I feel like, again, with this fear of like, oh, I was afraid that like I'm getting into old patterns, it's not like, or looking at things through rose-colored glasses. I think this is confirming, Pile 1. You're not doing that anymore. Like, you know your inner authority, and you've released these behaviors of like trying to appease others, frankly. Just because you know at the end of the day, even if, you know, again, if this is about a relationship or a person or what have you, if you're supposed to be with this person or in this situation, melting yourself down and trying to fit into whatever mold fits that situation will ultimately leave you feeling not so great. So, and that isn't to say you can't have it and be yourself. I think that's exactly what this is saying. It's like, you can have everything. Sorry, I'm like being really stoked. You can have it. You can. Like, it's in the divine blueprint, Pile 1, for you to have this thing. Like, and I know there's been some doubt, but be stoked, because it's all in the code, so to speak. Yeah, you're the divine sovereign ruler of your sacred inner lands. Reclaim your abdicated throne. Yeah, so this is you coming, like, it's like almost like a homecoming, like, and again, Beyonce Homecoming. Oh, that's self-reminder. I need to rewatch that concert, because holy moly, I got goosebumps thinking about it. You are set, like, Pile 1. And I know sometimes it might not feel like it, but just really take a look at this card and let it, so I'm trying to get the light off it. And this isn't to say that things are predetermined. It's saying, look at this beautiful piece of machinery. Look at this beautiful code you've built. Look at the way the thoughts, the way you've mentally disciplined yourself have created this beautiful, beautiful blueprint. I'm going to close the reading, Pile 1, with the Ritual of Restored Sovereignty from the guidebook, and I will link this deck in the description box because it is one of my favorites. I download now my divine blueprint, calling forth my innate godly imprint. Within me lies the vital code to restore my throne, once bright and hallowed. Dominion is at my command. I occupy my rightful lands. I claim my sacred sovereign right to speak my truth and shine my light. No more need for intervention. I join with source through pure intention. I hear my guidance true and clear. My holy counsel is always near. Equal in value, worth, and merit, I wear the crown I divinely inherit. As my vibrational frequency rises, ancient wisdom to me magnetizes. Higher knowledge and mysteries crystallize. With my sacred purpose I now harmonize. I am a way shower, a leader of light. I fully embody my divine birthright. Pile 1, how can you not be friggin' stoked? Am I right? Look at you. Be stoked. Oh. Yes, okay. That concludes your reading, Pile 1. I hope that this brought you some joy or confirmation, just because you're doing it, babe. And you're doing it right. And you deserve to feel friggin' stoked about all the hard work. Like, literally, like Pac-Man, like eating all the things. Waka, 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 waka. You freaking did it, Pile 1. All right. I'm closing. I just want to keep saying, you did it, because you did it, man. You friggin' did it. Okay, for real, I am closing your reading there. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the drill. I really, really enjoy doing these readings, and I hope that they bring some joy or happiness into your life. And if they did, please do those things. All right, I'm going to end it, or I will keep rambling. All right, bye, Pile 1. Hello. If you're here, you picked Pile 2 to see why you should be friggin' stoked. And, I mean, hello. You picked the sign of Tiwaz, which is the god Tyr, which is all about justice, balance. Really, I'm getting almost like, especially mentally, with this justice, this law, like you understand the law in the terms of like how your thoughts shape reality, and you know, in whatever way you take that, whether it's, you know, manifesting or, yeah, I know negative thought spirals make me depressed and then I don't go out, you know, either way, however you slice it, thoughts create your reality. and you know that, and you are able to really, I think, balance out or just let your emotions flow through you. And I don't mean that in a detached way, pile 2. I mean that more in a, you feel things, but you don't let them consume you. And I think that's something to absolutely be friggin' stoked about, just because I know that's something we all struggle with at one point or another, and some people will be consumed. But you are almost like a spiritual warrior, pile 2, and I mean, I think you should be friggin' stoked about that. But let's take a look at what the cards have to say. Before I dive in, I'll say I've got 2 oracle cards and some tarot. We're going to take a look at the tarot first, and then we will look at the oracle to close. And I will say another thing. I was, when I was pulling the cards for each pile, I pre-pull, but I don't pre-look, so to speak. I was also listening to my tunes on shuffle onto like a very pump up list, because I was like, let's get friggin' stoked. And for y'all, the song Anxious Alien by the artist Hannah came up. I'm not going to attempt to sing it. I will link it in the comments, but some of the lyrics are like, the opening lyrics are like, I'm so fancy, I get everything around me the way I want it because I hold the key. And I think you have the key, and the key is you have this mental balance, especially since this rune of Tiwa also runs through the sword. So I feel like there's a mental acuity that you have, or that maybe you've recently mastered, and you should be friggin' stoked about that, pile 2. But let's keep going. So much to be stoked about. Definitely let me know in the comments if this already resonates with y'all. All right, we've got, ooh, the moon. See, already, like the spiritual warrior. Look at you. Oh, and especially with the song, it's so like, y'all gotta listen to it. All right, we got, and then death. Are you friggin' kidding me, pile 2? What? I'm freaking out, y'all. I am freaking out. Okay, you got 1 minor arcana. I was gonna say, if you got all 4, I would have lost it. But yeah, holy friggin' smokes, pile 2. What you get to be stoked about is here with this moon. Like, I feel like you did kind of have your, quote unquote, dark night of the soul, or this period of reflection that maybe was caused by some sort of grief or connection, or maybe even illusion. But and I do want to preface really quickly, I don't want to confuse friggin' stoked with blessings in disguise. So I don't want to say you've learned and you grew, which I think you did, pile 2. It's very similar to pile 1, actually. Definitely maybe messages for both y'all there. But you have a much more intense energy. Like, I feel like you've done like whatever it is, you've caught people completely off guard in the best way possible. Especially with, I love this Emperor card. I think it's kind of creepy and powerful. I don't know how to describe it even, but like how they're shielding this lamb. Like, I feel like there was part of you, pile 2, that maybe was, like where you didn't even like feel like you were there. Like with this skeleton riding a horse. The horse isn't also a skeleton, it's just a skeleton. Or the human, rather, being a skeleton. And I feel like, that's just like, even when I'm playing the song in my head too, I don't want to play it here, but such a powerful, like, there's this growth, this rebirth, but like with this power that people, even yourself, didn't see coming, pile 2. This majesty, this like quick growth too, because look at all the branches behind this emperor. And with the 7 of torches, which I think is so interesting, like you've got these big, major arcana, and then you've got the 7 of wands, which is like this challenge card, right? Like you feel like a competition or something like that. And I think whether this competition was with yourself, like, getting over this hump or sussing your way through a situation, or if it was, actual competition with folks for, whatever it was, be it a job, an apartment you're trying to rent, concert tickets you wanted to get, you know, anything, whatever it was that you were passionate about, like, you've come up on top, pile 2. And that's what you get to be friggin' stoked about, because you've been through it. And I really love how, like, the colors, you know, we go from night to sort of this bright red, almost, I don't know why the word ultraverse is coming to my mind. I don't think that's a thing. Is it? Let me know. But, like, literally the sky is red, and it's not scary. It's just different. And you're catching people's attention is what I'm getting, pile 2, in a good way. So you should be freaking stoked. Let's keep going and see what else we have with the Crow Tarot. We've got the 4 of Swords underneath the moon. Okay, I'm seeing a story. I'm seeing a story. We've got the 9 of Cups. Actually, I do remember this coming up right side up. I'm not doing this just to, you know, judge you. And then I can count 7 of Wands in reverse. Oh, interesting. You got the 7 of Torches and the 7 of Wands. But one in reverse and one not. And then the Page of Swords in reverse. Yeah, so I feel like there was some sort of, especially with underneath the moon, the 4 of Swords, there was some sort of disillusionment or like disenchantment with something, or the even, I really like this deck, or this 4, almost like something outside of you disillusioned or took away the idea that you actually have so much power. Like you felt separate or disconnected. And the thing you get to be stoked about is there's this rebirth that's happened and wishes are free and coming true. And again, with these 2 7 of Torches, or Wands rather, it's like this competition, even if it still exists, it's not going to touch you, pile 2. And that's something to be freaking stoked about. And I think with the Page of Swords, the only warning is not to get, you know, quote unquote, too cocky, which isn't to say you should be proud of all the work you do. But if this is a, you know, tense or fiery situation, I think with the Page of Swords, it's just a reminder to use your words wisely, because you'll get what you want no matter what, pile 2. To be clear, you should be freaking stoked. But, you know, I think it's always important to remember that to treat others as we'd like to be treated, and that sometimes, as fun as it is to cut people down to size, or the idea of doing it, maybe write it in a rant, not at the person. And I think, yeah, you are gaining that control though. So that's awesome. Be freaking stoked, pile 2. Be freaking stoked. Yeah, definitely let me know if this is resonating with you. As we get into our final 2 oracle cards to see what you should be friggin' stoked about, pile 2. Okay, yes. So we've got the, excuse my pronunciation, the Huathe Hawthorn from the Celtic Tree Oracle. And then the Earth Stewardship from the Empath Activation Oracle. Put this over here. We're gonna start with this guy. So the Huathe Hawthorn, and let me know if you speak Celtic or Gaelic languages, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is all about this purification, this rebirth, which again, in conjunction literally with all of this, it's so funny that I lay them, the cards, they lay out for a reason. They lay out in a certain way for a reason, y'all. Be stoked. So like you have gone through this purification process, like this almost reflowering, like again, where it's kind of what I'm hearing, especially with these leaves, like maybe you didn't see these flowers and you're like, I'm doing all this work, when am I gonna flower? And it's like, it's happening, like this idea of preparation, like all of this work you've done, this magic is working. And I think it's also, yeah, okay, sorry, I'm like just kind of looking at it, I'm hearing a lot of things, like whatever old story you were telling yourself, pile 2, you're like, you're finally, and I say finally, you know, I feel like for some people this might have been in the works for a while, whatever the situation was, or this rebirth, if you will, which the Celtic tarot is, or oracle, is confirming. It's coming. Whatever, like, I just keep hearing it's coming. Like, just as, you know, every spring, the tree's gonna flower. You've done the work. You have planted the seed, and now it's time to prepare. So I think, pile 2, what you especially get to be stoked about is you've done the work. Like, maybe you might be, especially, okay, it's all making sense now. You might be feeling like you still have to be working harder. You still have to be battling yourself in order for, and maybe this is why the 9 of Cups, which is the wish fulfillment card, when I said, oh no, I remember pulling this right side up, but it came upside down. Like, I feel like there might be a part of you holding on to this idea that, like, I still have to fight a little bit. And what you should be freaking stoked about, pile 2, is you don't. You don't. Like, the work is done. The work is done. And that is the best feeling. Now let's look at your Earth Stewardship card from the Empath Activation Oracle, which I will link in the description because it's my friggin' favorite. So be friggin' stoked. All right, Earth Stewardship with 3. This reminds me of this card. Well, first, before I get into that, these cards are designed to activate the energy of the Oracle card in the viewer. So take a gander, a good one, pile 2. But this reminds me of the motion picture Signs with by, oh god, why is his name escaping me? Guided Sixth Sense. Oh, it's escaping me. It'll come to me. Anyway, that movie, y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. But with this Earth Stewardship card, before I get into that, the whole Signs thing, if you haven't seen the movie, it's pretty good. I haven't seen it in a while, so I haven't seen it. Anyway, point being, it's about a pastor whose wife was, he lost his wife tragically, and he kind of, you know, lost his faith. And then aliens invade, and through a series of synchronicities or what have you, his faith is restored, and the aliens all leave crop circles. And I think in a way, pile 3, the reason I'm recapping Signs for you is because I think there was a moment where you felt like, again, this disconnect, or this almost like a ghost in a shell sort of feeling. And I think the thing you get to be stoked about is that that period is done. And I think you've known it for a while, maybe even pile 2, but now it's finally, you're finally releasing it, and you're finally like getting into this stage where the fight is over, is what I'm hearing, pile 2. I'm going to read, to close your reading, pile 2, I am going to read from the Empath Activation Guidebook, just because it's the best. And while I'm flipping through, if you could like, comment, share, subscribe, you know the drill. Also, if you could tell me the name of that friggin' director, it is escaping me. Oh. M. Night Shyamalan. Oh, got it. Okay, anyway. Let's get back to why you friggin' should be stoked, pile 2. Everything on Gaia is sentient and possesses some degree of consciousness. The Earth is a living organism, and all of her inhabitants are in constant communication with one another, a global ecosystem of which you are part. This bio-network is speaking to you now. Whose voice do you hear? Is it the whisper of winds, the creak of the trees, the babbling of running water? Is it a certain part of the planet that draws your attention? Huh, okay, so this is what I'm, like, I think we should be freaking stoked about is you're reconnecting with everything. Pile 2. And I think, yeah, for a long time, you've kind of just maybe been a shadow of yourself. And I get it. Like, I've definitely had periods of time like that and days like that. You know, we all are constantly changing. But I think for y'all, pile 2, I'm getting a general feeling that it's been a while. And especially with this Earth Stewardship card, what you get to be freaking stoked about is you're coming back to reality in the good way. Like, you know, like if you're manifesting stuff like that, or if you felt like you kind of had to like isolate to do some healing, you're re-entering the world, but you're re-entering it whole, is what I'm hearing. Pile 2, that's something to be friggin' stoked about. Oh, okay, and I'm going to read you part of the summons to our stewards from the guidebook, just because it's a little long. And I highly encourage everybody to purchase tarot and oracle decks from authors and artists so we can support them. All right, so the one thing I wanted to read from here, pile 2, to close out your reading. Imbalance has dwelled long in the body of man. Forgotten is the knowing that we are all one. The disparity has not always been the case. There were once benevolent leaders of your race. All hope is not gone. Losses can be recovered, and will take brave souls like you, my beloved. I ask not that you go out and change the world, quote unquote, which, right, I feel like there's a lot of strife happening. Massive plans and great visions need not be unfurled. You can make the most difference right where you stand. Simple steps, consistent action, and love of motherland. It is your modeling that will ignite other people's passion. Show your children, family, community with your actions. So pile 2, to sum it up, and I feel like, and I mean, I don't mean to come off as like condescending, or like the work is done. And I feel like maybe you've been in this mode of struggle for a second and telling yourself, well, I need to kind of do X, Y, and Z before I get back to reality. And the thing you get to be stoked about is you're ready, baby. You are ready. You are ready, and you are freaking people out in the best friggin' way, pile 2. And that is where I will close your reading. Please, yeah, definitely let me know in the comments if this resonated with you. Thank you to all of you who've subscribed already, and to those of you who haven't, click the button if you want, or don't, but please do. But yes, I hope you have the wonderful rest of your day, evening, weekend, life if I never see you again, or, you know, you come here again, but I hope you do. And until then, next time, pile 2, be friggin' stoked. All right, boy. Hello, and if you were here, you picked pile 3 for what should you be friggin' stoked about? And the rune the rune you picked, pile 3, was the rune of Ingas, which is about the rune of male fertility, or, you know, that male masculine energy, that doing, action-oriented, positive, forward motion sort of thing, like keep moving forward. But it's also about planting a seed and then like a sudden burst of energy. So I think pile 3 is, and I think it's a common theme, but, you know, I am filming this just before September, you know, time of harvest, but what I'm getting is all this active masculine energy that you've been harnessing in terms of creating whatever it is you want to create. There might have been like some sort of sacrifice I'm feeling with it, like, or, you know, like if you were trying to build your own business, you had to, you know, sacrifice some social things, or, you know, you wanted to save it for a house, so you had to really break down your budget and cut some, you know, things that weren't necessary anymore. And I think pile 3, what I'm getting is that it's time. This time was necessary. You had to do this. You had to be active. And this isn't to say, rest on your loins. You're chill now. But what I think it is saying, it's like this big mountain of work is behind you, pile 3, and you should be friggin' stoked about that. But let's keep going. Before I dive in, I will say that I pre-pick, but I don't pre-look. So it's a surprise for all of us, pile 3. But when I was pulling cards, I had a very pump up playlist on shuffle as I was shuffling cards. And as I was pulling for your pile 3, the song Boys Wanna Be Here by Peaches came on, and I will link it below if you're not familiar. But it's a lady singer, but it's a very masculine energy, like, the boys wanna be here. I'm not gonna sing it. The girls wanna be here. She said it, she kept singing. It's a very, like, I'm the boss. I'm the bad bitch. Like, I know what the hell is up. Either people want to be me or they want to do me. Like, you have been on this, almost I'm getting like a war path, pile 3. And I think what you should be freaking stoked about is A, that it's paying off, and B, that you can take a moment to, you know, rest for a moment, if that makes sense. Yeah. All right, pile 3. So let's take a look at your tarot, and then we will take a look at the 2 oracle cards I pulled at the end. Yeah, definitely let me know in the comments if this is resonating with you so far. All right, we've got the Queen of Swords in reverse. She's saucy, literally. I'm gonna pretend that's ketchup. Yeah, like you were taking no, I don't know what the phrase is, but 4 of Cups in reverse. Okay, interesting. Ace of Swords also in reverse. And then, wow. And then the Sun. Holy smokes, pile 3. See, that's what I was saying. Like, I feel like there has been this sort of, yes, forward momentum, but with all these reversals, especially with like the Ace of Swords and the Queen of Swords, with this feminine energy, I feel like there was, maybe you've had trouble just allowing yourself to receive pile 3. Especially with the Ace of Swords in reverse, like maybe there was like sort of like a mental block, or, you know, this wanting to start anew, this wanting, especially with the 4 of Cups in reverse, to be able to have made a choice and feel comfortable with it. And especially what, I didn't even notice this till now, pile 3, this Queen of Cups of Swords, see these eyes above her? Yeah, I feel like that you felt like there was like things out of your control. Like even if you were like literally like hacking away at whatever your goal was, it felt like there's a lot of false starts. And then, holy friggin' smokes, pile 3, you got the Sun. And this is such a beautiful childlike Sun, which I guess, you know, a lot of decks are. But there's such a joy in this Sun card and such a peace. Like this child is holding the Sun, which if you're not familiar with the Sun, it is kind of hot. But there's no pain. Like there's a sort of appreciation without the need to possess, is what I'm hearing, pile 3. And I think that's something you're coming to. And that's something you should be freaking stoked about. But let's keep going. Let's look at the Crow Tarot and to kind of clarify these. This is very intriguing, pile 3. All right. Huh, wow, the Hanged Man under the Queen of Swords. Okay, okay. And then, wow, the World reversed under 4. Yeah, okay. Knight of Wands also in reverse under the Ace of Swords. Yeah, a lot of reversals. So I think also pile 3, especially since there's so many reversals, I think what I'm hearing is what you get to be stoked about is any delays are coming to an end. Yeah, and then the 5 of Wands in reverse. Especially under the Sun, like, yeah, there might have been just a lot of wand energy here. Wand and sword. So I feel like, yeah, something you're passionate about. Maybe this is like a work thing or a group project, or I don't know why I just got the like comedy troupe. I don't know why that came to me. But yeah, it's like some sort of creative project, something that you're very passionate about and something that takes a lot of like mental stamina. Something about it might have given you pause. And there was a need to reflect, because with the world turned upside down, I don't view that as a bad thing so much as a different thing. And I think there was, you know, this Knight of Wands in reverse is, you know, usually when it's right side up, you see how the crow isn't even riding the horse so much as flying beside them. And I think there was like a lack of synchronicity, or there was some like group fighting, or just not even fighting. I don't know if that's the right word, pile 3, but something that in a group dynamic, I don't know why I keep hearing group dynamic, like there was a conflict. But what I'm seeing, pile 3, is what you get to be stoked about is, especially with it in reverse, is maybe it was just kind of like a squabble. Or maybe like you are like finding a way to let it go. Whatever this was. And you should be stoked about that. I do want to make a sidebar here. we should be stoked about literally waking up and being alive. So if you're like, oh, this, like, I don't know why I'm being compelled to say this, but somebody needs to hear it. If you're like, oh, that's it, that's the only thing I should be stoked for, I think this is a call to, like, yeah, because once you're stoked for that, more things worth being stoked for come into your life. Again, this ability to admire and appreciate but not possess, which doesn't mean you can't have what you want, pile 3, to be very, very clear. But you don't need to fight for it. Wow, okay, time out. Especially with your 2 oracle cards, pile 3. You've got the Sally Willow from the Celtic Tree Oracle, and then the Self-Love card, which, they're both beautiful. Pinks and greens to a lot of heart chakra. From the this is from the Empath Activation Oracle. But what I do think is so interesting, pile 3, and again, what you get to be freaking stoked about is these are both very feminine energy cards. And I feel like you have, again, especially with the rune you picked, and this sort of a lot of passionate fire energy, you have it in the very masculine energy, which again, neither of them are bad. We need both of them. We need everything in between. But I think what you should be freaking stoked about is that there is a period coming into your life where there won't be these kind of almost like petty, just like annoying and draining things in your life. And especially with the sun and the Sally Willow, like this ability to the feminine, like to embrace this feminine energy, to just accept. Because again, like, this isn't to say don't fight for what you want. But sometimes I feel like we all can do it. We get caught up more in the politics, if that makes sense, of the fight, or, you know, being right, than about actually being happy or finding some sort of resolution or way forward. And I think what you get to be stoked about, pile 3, is, especially if you, like, maybe you are the person who's always, like, trying to be like, okay, guys, we need to talk about this, like, what's going on? Like, you feel like you keep being, like, at a standstill or what have you, pile 3. What you should be freaking stoked about is you don't need to fulfill that role, especially if you feel like it has left you kind of, like, bloody, or, you know, like you had to kind of get a little dirty doing it. I think now it's like, what you get to be stoked about is you get to take care of yourself. Like, this is a time where you're explicitly being called to open yourself up to receiving great, beautiful things and working towards self-love. Because you have been working so hard. Like, I keep getting that pile 3. Like, you've just been like I keep seeing, like, somebody cutting through a jungle with a machete and just, like, inch by inch. And then, like, then their foot's in quicksand. They're like, what the heck? Like one thing after another that might have really having you questioning your world. Pile 3. But you don't have to. And again, this isn't to say, don't worry about anything. Just kick your feet up and watch Netflix all day. I'm not saying that. But whatever's been eating up a lot of your headspace, pile 3, be friggin' stoked. It's not your problem. It's not your problem. Your problem, or rather what you should focus on, is you. And so we're going to close this reading with the Empath Activation Oracle. And for those of you who've been here before, you already know, but for those who are new, one of my favorite things about this deck is that the art is designed to activate the energy, the card within you. So if you feel like you need some self-love, pause it, look at it really hard. I will put the cards in the description if you feel compelled to purchase them and support the artist. But this is like such a card of balance too, right? So again, I think what you get to be freaking stoked about is you've done the seeding, you've done the planting, you've done everything that you can through sheer willpower, and now you need to open yourself up to receiving. But let's take to close your reading, pile 3. I'm going to read from the guidebook just because each card has such a gorgeous incantation or advice. Yes, if you're enjoying this, please take a moment as I'm flipping through this to like, comment, share, subscribe. I super appreciate it. And thank you to those of you who've already been doing that or have subscribed. I cannot tell you how much it makes my day. So thank you so much. Yes, okay, so 31, the highest expression of creator in the flesh is love. Universal, eternal, blissful, unconditional love. And I think that's what you get to be freaking stoked about, pile 3. Like, this is a reminder, like, you are worthy of this self-love. Like, you have worked hard. Like, you don't need to earn love. Now, where might you be experiencing imbalance in the flow of love today? What needs to shift in order to allow this radiant light energy to interact freely between you and everything in your life, including yourself? And I think especially, again, in conjunction with the Sally Willow, which is all about that feminine, receptive energy, that's what you get to be stoked about, is you get to receive. Like, allow yourself to receive, pile 3. It's not easy, but it's simple. And you can freaking do it. All right, to close your reading, I'm going to read a little bit from the Invocation of Self-Love, again from the book. I'm not going to read the entire thing because it's a bit long. But I think the second stanza is particularly prudent for you, pile 3, what you should be freaking stoked about. My spirit and soul are ready for change. Priorities, values, beliefs rearrange. I forgive and heal past traumas and wounding that set up the pattern to always be proving. I release my outmoded vision of self-worth and openly welcome my glorious rebirth. I am deserving of all good things because I exist. Because you exist, pile 3. Remember that. Because I exist, the universe brings. I don't have to hustle, beg, or concede to joyfully fill what I desire and need. My birthright is abundance of every kind. I'm inherently worthy by grand design. How can you not be friggin' stoked after hearing that, pile 3? Just by the fact that you are here. You deserve it. You deserve everything you want. Now just allow yourself to have it. Isn't that awesome? Oop, as I knock my light. It is awesome. And I hope that you feel it's awesome. Because you are awesome. Literally, pile 3, like, just think of everything you've done, like, just in terms of you woke up today, you worked, or you took out the trash, or whatever you did. You're incredible. And you should be friggin' stoked about it. I will close your reading there. You know the drill. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. I always love hearing from folks. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, time, life. But I hope I see you before that's done. All right, before it gets morbid, bye, pile 3. I was friggin' stoked to read this for you, and I hope that you are leaving friggin' stoked. Bye, bye, bye. All right, if you're here, you picked pile 4 for what you should be friggin' stoked about in your life. And you picked the Hagalas rune, which I think is interesting because it was the only one of the ones I pulled randomly that came in the moon shape. Like half of them are moons, half of them are stars. So I feel like this might be a little different. Like the rest of the readings had one vibe, and I'm curious to see, because I pre-pulled, but I don't pre-look pile 4. I feel like you will have a different vibe because just, you know, marching to the beat of your own drum sort of thing. But what's interesting is this is reading what you'd be freaking stoked for. And Hagalas is the root of hail or storm or things out of your control. And this isn't to say you should be stoked that things aren't in your control, because this is almost, it's not like exactly tower energy, but of that vibe. Like the onslaught of things that come with the Hagalas can sometimes feel like undeserved or out of left field. And again, I don't want to panic anybody. This is a reading about what you should be freaking stoked about. So stay with me. I think what this is saying, pile 4, and the cards will reveal more, is that this adversity that you've been through, maybe this tower moment that you have been working your way through, you might not have deserved it. You know what? You didn't deserve it. But you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like oh yeah, I kind of fell to their level and then we kind of both fought and we both said bad things. Like this might have like blindsided you, or like I was doing great at my job and then they just let me go, but kept this ding dong who literally comes in hungover all the time, or what have you. What you should be stoked about, pile 4, is this time is done, baby. Like you have done your time, or I don't want to use that saying, but you have completed this cycle. But let's see what the tarot cards have to say. Definitely let me know if this is resonating with you, pile 4. All right, we've got the 8 of Swords in reverse. Okay, interesting. The 3 of Cups, also in reverse. Interesting. Ooh, the Universe. Just like the world. And then, what did I say? The Tower. Are you freaking kidding me? Wow. All right. Pile 4. I do love that the Universe and the Tower are right near each other. And so what I'm seeing right now, especially with like the 8 of Swords in reverse and the 3 of Cups in reverse, this might have had to do with like communication or friendship or something that either went awry in some way or somehow like you felt like out of place. And that, you know, could have been, you know, due to the way folks treated you in a situation, or as the 8 of Swords suggests, especially in reverse, like it might have been self-imposed limitations or fears due to previous patterns, especially things that were like out of your control, right? You know, it's like, I didn't manifest these jerks into my life. You know, some people just suck. But I've got an idea with these, pile 4. Definitely let me know if this is, resonating with you, but I want to keep pulling the tarot to get a little more clarification before I start interpreting the rest of this spread, which is very interesting. Let's go. All right. Boom. Ace of Wands right under. Okay. All right. The Two of Wands. 1, 2. I'm seeing. Okay. Oh, both wands. Oh my, you got 2 towers, y'all? Like, and again, I'm not trying to harsh or mellow. This is what you should be friggin' stoked about. We're gonna be friggin' stoked about these towers. You just wait, pile 4. And then we got the Queen of Cups in reverse. Yeah, pile 2 might be interesting for you too, but the 2 towers. Okay, wow. The 2 towers. Lord of the Rings, the 2 towers. Like, yeah, you have been through this literal, huge, friggin' battle. For those of you who haven't seen Lord of the Rings, the 2 towers, it's maybe the best fight scene in cinematic history. Heard of it? All right, I'm sorry. Let's get back to why we should be stoked about you, pile 4. But going off of that, yes, like you've gone through something cataclysmic. But there's a balance, especially with the 2 of Wands right underneath this 3 of Cups reversed. What you get to be freaking stoked about is whatever, and I'm getting like some sort of companionship, whether it's, romantic or friendship or what have you, it's coming back into balance, right? Like the passions are reigniting, the connection is being reformed, if you will. And passion, like I feel like with the 8 of Swords in reverse and the Ace of Wands, pile 4, yeah, you're letting go of these self-limiting beliefs, which I know can be so easy to stick in for a long time. So that should be something you should be freaking stoked about, pile 4. And again, especially with the Universe and the Tower in reverse, and then the Queen of Cups and then the Tower. Yeah, I feel like this, like whatever threw you, like your emotions out of whack, because I feel like you usually are kind of like a calm, cool, collected person. Like you usually are a go with the flow person, and something like threw you out of whack, like a situation or a person, especially with this Tower, which I think is interesting because it's all hands touching it. It's not like a strike of lightning. So I do feel like there were, maybe people in your life that had more control or a larger amount of control, because the hands are so big, of your life than you would typically like to give them credit for, because I think you do view yourself as somebody who, like, and not in a snooty way, but you're mature and you're grown and you're able to rise above when people are at their lowest. You don't sink there. And I think for a while there was like almost like a fear that like every time I try to like act the way my heart tells me to, like the way I would want to be treated, like to not sink to these levels, to try to bring balance back, like I'm just kind of slapped in the friggin' face. And I feel like there's maybe like some sort of doubt that like you're like, maybe this is a dog-eat-dog world. Maybe, like, you know, there's something almost, I'm getting, like, the child in you was almost, like, I'm thinking of, like, Inside Out, you know, when, like, her core memories, they go, doo, 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 and they shut down. Like, there's something for you, Pile 4, that, like, just really shook you. And, like, there's something so, again, like, mature but pure. Is that a phrase? Did I just make that? Mature but pure. Like, in the sense of, like, you're able to maintain this, like, childlike wonder and ability to connect with people, but, you know, with experience to back it, so to speak. And I think there might be, like, a nervousness. Let's look at your oracle cards, because you're gonna be stoked about this. I promised Pop before. All right, you got, they were like this, okay. You got the Lewis Rowan from the Celtic Tree Oracle, an embodiment. Okay. Pile 4. Be ready to be like, oh, finally an answer to these freaking 2 towers I got. So, in the Celtic Tree Oracle, the Lewis Rowan is all about protection. It's all about this ability to, like I said before, like, discriminate. Like, you have this ability to tell when things aren't about you, even if, like, people maybe, like, project or spew their shit onto you. Like, you have that ability to differentiate. But I think there's, like, a tiredness that's come with that. Like, 'cause you're like, yeah, even if I know that, it still kind of sucks when people do it. Like, you know, like, just because, like, you know, you're mature doesn't make these things hurt less. And I think what you should be friggin' stoked about, Pile 4, is this knowledge that, like, you are protected. Like, what you're doing is right. And I know that doesn't help in the sense that it's like, yeah, but this person or this situation or this job or whatever in your past that has kind of shook your belief in the good in this world. I think what you get to be friggin' stoked about is something's coming in. And I think it's coming from you, Pile 4, to remind you, you're like, oh yeah, this is who I am. I friggin' love myself. And I know, like, this is such an intuitive card. And I think, Pile 4, there might have been, like, situations that have made you doubt your intuition or your ability to assess situations, and maybe has put you almost on pause with this Ace of Wands, even though it's upright. There's this crow is standing on it, and it's upright, which is kind of wild, but at the same time, it's like, you must have worked hard to get it to stand that still at that angle, and now you're gonna sit here and worry if it falls. And you are protected, Pile 4. That's what you should be stoked about, is you are on the right path. Yes, some things shook your beliefs, but it shouldn't have you abandoning them. And I know this is, like, again, I'm trying to, like, a weird sidebar. I watch a lot of tarot on YouTube because I just love it, and I like the community a lot. It's really wonderful people in there. I mean, obviously, there are definitely people who are always, like, selling, like, or the way they read, rather. I don't want to say they're selling, but it's always the biggest thing ever. Like, the Lover's coming back. You're getting $1 million, which, not to say you can't do that, but I honestly think the most powerful thing, one of the things you should be so freaking stoked about, Pile 4, or anyone, rather, is just knowing that it's all in you. Like, you have it all in you, and you are protected. This isn't to say, you know, go wild and just party all the time or whatever, like, because you're protected. But rather these doubts you've had, or these questions you've had about your intuition, which I think used to treat you so well, like, what you should be stoked about is it's still working. It's still working. Your intuition is still working, and you are protected. So trust it and act upon it, because when you do, you are protected. Pile 4 is what I'm getting. I'm going to take a quick sip of a beverage because I am parched. Maybe you should too. Pile 4 if you're thirsty. And while I do, maybe like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. And thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Woo. All right, swig taken, Pile 4. Interesting, Pile 4, you also got, for the last card I'm going to read for you, you got the number 4 of embodiment. And for those of you who have been here before, you already know this, but for those of you who are new, maybe just subscribe. But also, this is one of my favorite decks because the art is gorgeous, but it's also meant to activate the energy of the card. And for you, we got embodiment. And 4 is such a number of stability, right? Grounding, and especially with all these circles, like it reminds me definitely of Pentacles, so like that earthing. So I think what you get to be stoked about, or not get to be stoked about, or what you should be stoked about, or what I hope you're stoked about, is again that the embodiment is, yes, being in the body, being in the 3D world, interacting with people, sometimes dealing with their bullshit. But to get lost or to doubt yourself or to be in this like mental sort of, I don't want to use the word spiral, but, you know, back and forth or waffling, because in your heart of hearts, you know, right, with the universe, like, you know how everything works. And you know, I keep saying you know, because you do know, pile 4. We all know. We all just need to be reminded once in a while. You know that you are one with Creator, and what you get to be particularly stoked about, pile 4, is that this is a time to come back into your body. And what, again, this is a timeless reading, but what a great time entering Virgo season. The point of incarnating in human form is not to rise above your measly existence. Again, this is what I was saying earlier, right? In terms of like, it doesn't have to be big or like, oh, I'm only making this little progress, so I don't need to celebrate it. To know in your bones that you are a divine being walking in flesh and blood. Joy, abundance, and pleasure are your birthright. You're here on this planet to know yourself as a creator, right? And this is, I think, again, pile 4, there was some doubt about knowing who you were or how things work in your reality. And it's, no, be freaking stoked. You do know. Yeah, something kind of shook you up, as it does with everyone. It's not the funnest thing to happen, but you know what? It happens. And what you could be stoked about is like, wow, hold on, I'm reading from the book. Your body is a magical alchemical conduit through which the formless is brought into form, through which the unmanifest is made manifest. Nothing materializes without you. You matter. And thus your dreams, desires, passions, and feelings matter. Why? Because they become matter. That is to say, they become substance. No one else will dream your dreams for you and bring them into being. If you're not fully in your body, your dreams will remain discarnate. Oh, pile 4. That's what you're gonna be stoked about. Like, I feel like so many people can kind of get caught up in this. And like, again, we all have our cycles. This isn't to say that anybody purely lives in their body and are just, you know, pulling things out of thin air. If you know them, I want to meet them. But this is to say so many people, I think, kind of, you know, shuffle through life and, you know, punch in, punch out, whatever that means. And I'm not particularly fond of the term blessing in disguise, because that's like usually a bummer city, bro. But there is no blessing in disguise, because like you're past this. You're past the tower moment, like it's done. And if it's still affecting you, it's a rumination, right? So like this is in the past. And you are protected to move forward, pile 4. And literally bring into your life whatever the frig you want to bring in, right? The wisdom and value gained through all of this is the bridge that's reconnecting you to this ability to like create. Yeah. I'm being compelled. I didn't do this for any other pile, so know that, pile 4, but I'm being called to just get one more Crow Tarot. I don't know why, but I don't know why, but I need to know. How do we get, oh, death. Yes, okay. And I know it's like, I came here to get pumped up. Be pumped up, baby. That was then, this is now. Just let yourself be that, babe. This cycle is over. Allow yourself to leave this old embodiment because you are protected. I don't know how else to say a pile 4. Sorry, you guys got a little intense. I told you, y'all picked the one rune that was a little different. This one was a little more intense than the other ones. But it's so empowering. Like, and again, I feel like I say this all the time. It's so much, it's easier said than done. But once you shed this, once you let go of this tower moment, if it's still holding on to pile 4, which given that we got dose, maybe it is for some of y'all, let yourself reap again. Like, you are so protected. Be stoked about that. And also with this, I don't know, I'm getting this. Maybe I'm just a little punchy, pile 4. Or maybe you'll appreciate it. But it's almost like, what else can you friggin' do to me? I already been here. I'm going only up. And that, honestly, in whatever situation that is, I'm not saying you're a rock bottom pile 4, but you know, whatever situation you're in that you felt like you might have been kind of caught in, what you should be freaking stoked about is, guess what? You're the one holding you back, if you still are, or you're on the path to letting it go, so you can embody something better and move forward. And you're protected. Like, I feel like that just needs to be said. Like, you are so, so, so protected, pile 4. So take those risks and be freaking stoked about them. But yes, I will conclude your reading there. Definitely let me know, especially pile 4. I'm very curious if this resonated with you. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the whole drill. And thank you so much for being here with me. And I will see you next time. And guess what, pile 4? I'm friggin' stoked for you. Because you friggin' rule. Bye. Hey, pile 4. Sorry for the weird insert. I just realized as I was cleaning up, I did not give you your song that I listened to, or rather that came up on shuffle as I was shuffling your cards, which I did for all the other piles, and it was, I think, very relevant to you. It's one of my favorite songs. It's Topaz by B-52s, and I will link it below, but definitely listen to it, especially if you're in a manifesting. I'd be curious to what you think. And apologies for not including it, I swear. It's so funny because it's definitely my favorite song out of all of them, so definitely let me know what you think. All right, bye, pile 4.